My name is Liz and I've been coming to Christchurch for a long number of years. When the children were 11, 12 and 7, John, my husband, died very suddenly overnight. He had a subarachnoid hemorrhage. So when the children went to bed at night, he was fine. And when they woke up the next morning, he was on life support and they came into the hospital to say goodbye to him, really. And that night, several of his organs were donated, and then John was taken off life support and died. The feelings I had at that time were a complete numbness, really, which I think is very common. Something gets you through one day after another. Also complete panic. I'd never signed up to bring up 3 children on my own. Very grateful for very good friends who stepped in and supported me and were hugely instrumental in getting me through, those first weeks and months and years as well. I struggled to make decisions, which in retrospect was probably a good thing because I didn't make any rash decisions like selling the house and heading off somewhere else, which is one of the things I thought about because I thought it might be better somewhere else, might not hurt so much. And I also struggled to eat and sleep, which isn't what you need really when you're dealing with everything else. I wanted to make things right for the children, which I couldn't do. I wanted to make sure that we still had joy and fun in the house, which was really hard because that's not how I felt. I didn't feel joyful at all. One thing which I've realised since I wasn't really aware of at the time, because when a family member dies, it obviously affects everyone in the family. And I think we were all trying to protect each other and look after each other, which does mean that maybe you're not as open as you'd like to be. So with John's parents, I think I probably didn't share as much how I felt because I was very aware that they had lost their son. With the children, they were also trying not to, I think, say too much to me because they didn't want to upset me, and of course I wanted to protect them, so would try and put on a brave front, but we got over those bits. I remember one birthday in particular, it was Ellen's birthday, which was just about 6 weeks later, and we tried so hard to have a family meal. We had a takeaway, we borrowed a film, we were going to make it really special, and of course it just wasn't at all because we sat around the table without John there and dissolved into tears. And my youngest daughter was just bemused by the whole thing. I think she'd been looking forward to it being a family celebration, and it wasn't anything like that. It did actually turn into us all sitting down watching the film really late into the night, and then the children went into school late the next day, which it was a bit of a celebration for them. I found church as an institution very difficult for quite a while. Mainly because of worship. I find it very difficult to be around worship, which is joyful and praising, and that's not how I felt at all. I never felt angry with God. I would say that my faith was shaken. I felt very far from God, but I didn't feel angry. I accepted what had happened. I was very grateful for friends who supported with the children. They made sure that they would bring them to church, to their groups, so they had that normality, they had their friends, and they could still be a part of church when I didn't feel that I could be. In terms of prayer, I think I cried a lot. I asked for help without knowing what kind of help I wanted or needed. I felt a bit like a child who didn't know what direction to go in and didn't even really know what to ask, which is probably something I haven't really shared because it makes me feel I should have coped better. So my feelings really were that I was just resigned and felt far from God, but knew ultimately that it would be all right, that he wasn't far from me. I just needed to find my way back.